Okay then. There we go. And here's where the next one will go. But of course, we're not here yet. Okay, so now it's time to talk with everybody. Let's see what he has to say up here.
Oh, unbelievable.
What's up?
Your politicians are constantly referencing the Founding Fathers and insisting they must have been in support of one thing or another. I have never seen such a blatant disregard for history.
That's just typical political propaganda.
It's also dishonest and delusional. How can anyone claim to know what these people wanted based off scraps of paper and wishful thinking?
They're looking for intent. What these men envision for our country and its future.
Idealistic and unlikely. I don't think most of your presidents and senators and judges care what the founders thought. They just want to know how they can bend old words to achieve modern goals. Who cares if they were deists or theists or wanted a central bank? Why do people need the validation? What should matter is what you, as an individual, believe, and why you believe it. What, are we so insecure that we have to find 18th century letters to validate our beliefs? Oh, look, Mum, a dead man agreed with me. Maybe. If you transpose the letters in his shopping list, you can plainly see he was on my side.
Jesus, Sean. That's a cynical way to look at it.
Doesn't make it less true.
Wow.
I keep trying to understand how men like Washington and Jefferson could dedicate their lives to the pursuit of liberty and equality, yet have no problem owning slaves. It's hypocritical in the extreme, and your history books make only passing mention of the subject, as if it were of little consequence.
They had a war to win. Country's future to secure. How could they deal with all these issues at the same time?
Well, it's quite simple, actually. They didn't think of them as human.
We hear it today, too, that matters of civil rights and equality must wait. There are conflicts to settle, economies to salvage. What do any of these things matter if the people are not free and equal? All of them.
But to the white men of the time, they weren't people.
I wish there was a
I'm not
way
saying it's
to
right, I'm just
share
saying
what we
that's
learned
the
from
way it
Adams
was.
with others. Imagine being able to accurately answer questions about the past, or experience lost civilizations.
But how would you cite it? We can't just reveal the machine's existence to the world.
Why not?
Desmond's right. It would be dangerous. And we still haven't found a way to manage the bleeding effect.
Maybe when we're done saving the world, we can look into it.
Even if we do manage to stave off the apocalypse, it's not like the Templars are simply going to disappear. I suspect our fight will continue long after this latest battle is finished. Oh, look at the time. Oh, doesn't time fly? Look, I think it's best we get you back in the Animus, hmm?
I guess we're done.
We need to find that key, Desmond. It's not going to
Done talking to Sean. Let's see if we can't find William, aka Dad. He's usually up wandering around this way. Yep, there he is.
Come on, son. We got work to do.
Is that it? Nothing else? Okay, nothing with William. That leaves Rebecca and the emails. Whichever one's closest is the one I go to first. I don't know why I climbed that wall. Looks like it's email time. That one's closer, so... Received messages. Where's the new ones? Here we go. Rebecca Crane. Am I the only one who thinks that we should buy a few space heaters? Maybe a couple of jackets, too? It's cold down here. I sort of figured that as we powered the place up, it'd turn on its climate control systems or something. Guess not. Maybe the first civies liked it this way? All I know is I don't. So I'd really like for us to pick some sort of heating solution the next time we head out. Please. From Sean. Annoying. Abstergo is definitely onto us. Most of the power sources I was tracking are gone. Guess they're rushing to snap them up now that they know what we're up to. We've got the other cells scouting for us, running interference, trying to grab anything they can. It's just hard with our numbers and their resources. From William. Status. Sean's continuing his search for additional power sources. I'm working to coordinate with the other cells, having them doing recon and watching for Abstergo. Rebecca's been monitoring your sessions. I'm hoping to duplicate some of the recordings and send them to other cells for further research. Also hoping there's a way to bypass some of these memories, but synchronization seems to dictate you progress in chronological order. Hopefully someday we'll have a way to move through memories more quickly. It would certainly save us a lot of time in situations like this. From Binary. Hurry. Why do you delay? If you do not retrieve the key in time, all the world will perish and you with it. Yet you stop to talk, or rest. Rest later, when your work is done. If I seem aggressive, if my words feel more imperative than request, it is because I fear that you will not succeed in time, and then all of us are doomed. Murderers. My father was taken from me by human hands, a war they called it, for your freedom, or for their freedom. They were not even meant to exist. You were not meant to exist. We conjured you, a mistake, an error that cost us the world. My father would sing to me as a child, soft songs of hope and love, his voice forever stilled when your brutish ancestors took up axe and club, later turned our own works against us. We might have known what was to come, and averted it, had you not dragged us into the war. This is your fault. And from Sean on American politics. You know, it's rather incredible the way your lunatic fringe tries to conjure the spirit of the Founding Fathers to support their various causes. And by incredible, I mean hilarious. They hold up slave-owning sexist homophobes as if that's some sort of ideal to which one should aspire. Oh, and in case you think I added that last bit for fun, as the sexism and slavery bits are already common knowledge, sodomy was a criminal offense in every one of the 13 colonies except for Georgia, and Thomas Jefferson, champion of personal liberty that he was, advocated for the castration of homosexuals. Lovely fellows, these founding fathers of yours, and now there's that new bit of madness with people asking for the removal of textbook references to their slave owning. That I don't think should happen, but it may happen. I think that is stupid. That should not happen. It's like the idea of removing the N-word from Mark Twain's books, namely Huckleberry Finn. It shouldn't happen. It's censorship. It's treating it as if those problems did not exist in that time. Racism and slavery and things like that existed. To take works from the times where it was common and accepted and remove all knowledge of that, I think is just to try to say that things like that never existed. It's trying to make it so that our past is more along lines with our future, that we've always been as progressive as we are, but we haven't. Even now, we're still not nearly as progressive as we should be. But I don't want history to forget the mistakes we've made in the past. Because if that happens, as you know, as the old saying goes, history is doomed to repeat. Anyways, back to this. And before you think to turn it back around and rightly point out their barbarism was inspired by English law, last I checked, two stupids don't make a smart. I thought the whole point of the revolution was to break free of the old ways, and it certainly doesn't recommend your founders as the sort of persons one should aspire to become, unless you aspire to become a manipulative bigot. Lest you think I'm championing some sort of leftist agenda, I'll gladly shame the internet tough guys who celebrate the Treaty of Tripoli as well. Shame on them for thinking it shows anything other than something taken straight out of the First Grader's Guide to International Relations. Its intent wasn't to prove America wasn't a Christian nation. They were saying they weren't going to reignite the Crusades. No, that would be delayed for a couple of centuries. Now, I don't believe your founding fathers wanted to establish a theocracy, and they probably didn't intend for the country to be welcoming of all religions, but this isn't proof of that. Or probably did intend for the country to be welcoming of all religions, but this isn't proof of that. You know, it kind of is true. We kind of did reignite the Crusades. I mean, it's not the Holy Crusades, but we've gone back to the Middle East repeatedly to for various reasons, chiefly for oil and so on, and also to take down dictators. And now we're going back into Iraq again to try to stop ISIS. Anyways, I suppose the point I'm trying to make is that people might want to spend a little less time romanticizing and manipulating the past, fat chance that, and a bit more time focusing on how to improve the future, fatter chance still. I agree with that. That's not say, wow, that does not really make sense. It should probably be, that's not to say there isn't plenty to be learned from looking back, because there is. It's just that most of those lessons wind up ignored or perverted these days. At best, it's disingenuous and unproductive. At worst, and often, it's rather dangerous. So there we go. We're all caught up on emails now. And now it's time to see if Rebecca has anything to say.
So, what's the latest? Learn anything interesting while you were exploring?
They were working on some weird stuff towards the end. Trying to engineer new bodies and store their minds inside computers.
Failure after failure. It must have been hard for them.
I worry about it too. I mean, they say there's something in here that'll help us. But what is it? Why is it locked up if it's exactly what we need?
I don't know. Maybe it's dangerous. Maybe they wanted to make sure only you could reach it.
That's the other question. What makes me so special?
I guess we'll know once we open the door.
Probably you're descended from them.
Hey, I hope it's not uncomfortable for me to ask, but what happened with Lucy?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said anything.
No, it's fine. I really don't know. I was talking to my dad about it. It's hard to say. I mean, Juno definitely took control, but I think I agreed to it on some level. I think I let her in. No. That's not right. It wasn't her. Not exactly. It was more like a program. Does that sound weird? It showed me things.
What'd you see?
That if I didn't stop Lucy, Abstergo would get the apple, and we'd all be dead.
I still don't understand
That's
why
not
she
what I
turned
remember it
on
showing us.
I'm sure she thought she was doing the right thing.
I gotta get back to work. You might want to do the same.
Okay then. It's time to go
Sorry,
back
Dad.
into the Animus.
Oh, look at that. I found a third power source.
Already?
Already?
It popped up in an earlier search, but I've only just managed to confirm it.
Where?
There's a museum in Cairo with one on display.
I guess Connor will have to wait.
No, you stay. We need to find that key, and time is running out. I'll make the trip.
Seriously?
What about Cross?
Everything's going to be fine. I'll be back soon.
Ready when you are, Desmond.
Okay then. We're going back in with Connor
Winter
then.
approaches. The air is still and sharp with grim expectation. The others sense it too and go about their work with uncommon urgency. I would like to help them, but more pressing matters now demand my attention. The Templars have targeted George Washington directly, and will not rest until he is dead. I had hoped to shield him from this knowledge, but Thomas Hickey ended any hope I had of staying silent. And so I have resolved to share everything I know of the Templars and their plots, of who I really am. Achilles finds fault in this, and we argue every day, but there is simply too much now at stake to maintain restraint.
Yep, back at the homestead. Good.
Don't do this, Connor.
Then what would you propose we do? Sit and watch while the Templars take control? We are sworn to stop them, or have you forgotten?
Assassins are meant to be quiet, precise. We do not go announcing conspiracies from the rooftops to all who pass by.
Who are you to lecture anyone? You locked yourself away in this crumbling heap and gave up on the Brotherhood entirely. Since the day I arrived, you've done nothing but discourage me. And on the rare occasions you've chosen to help, you've done so little, you may as well have done nothing at all.
How dare you!
Then tell me, on whose watch did the Brotherhood falter? Whose inaction allowed the Templar Order to grow so large that it now controls an entire nation?
If I sought to dissuade you, it was because you knew nothing. If I was reluctant to contribute, it was because you were naive. 1,000 times you would have died and taken God knows how many with you. Let me tell you something, Connor. Life is not a fairy tale, and there are no happy endings.
No. Not when men like you are left in charge.
In your haste to save the world, boy, take care you don't destroy it.
Yeah, that would be just perfect. Okay, is it going to set us straight off on a mission, or are we going to get to do our own kind of thing for a little bit? because we kind of need to go do our naval mission still. I did like a couple and then that was it.